I did mention that Prophet Mboro was going to be on Chilla's podcast, right? And wow. Now, on this particular point, I'm going to talk about one thing that he spoke about concerning how he does the resurrection. Like how does he resurrect a person, or a person's about to die, or whatever it is. And so he gets into this ritual explanation. Like, by ritual I just mean like the format around it, right? And so he explains, or he breaks it down. Now, I bet you, if you were to go out and you ask Christians, is this how miracles are done? I don't know. I just found it quite interesting. It's the Rex Reality Show with the Daily Christian Commentary. I'm not even going to finish the introduction. Let's just go straight into the video so you can hear it yourself.
You fail, that person will not come back. And sometimes a person, they stay.
So he's explaining there's this process, okay? And even removes Jesus at one point. Wait.
Here. There are different ways to raise the dead. I won't disclose them here. But there are two places. If you touch this, it works. Sometimes it doesn't work. If you touch this, it works. And once the person comes, you need to speak to the spirit of that person. You need to have an agreement with that person to come back. While they're in their subconscious, you get in there in the spirit, and then you negotiate with them. You show.
So you get into the subconscious of another person, or wherever this spirit is when they are about to die, whatever it is, okay, and negotiate with the person. You get inside into the spirit, he says, and then you negotiate with
them the value. Some you can find this to come back. While they're in their subconscious, you get in there in the spirit, and then you negotiate with them. You show them the value. Some you can fight them back. Some is their will. Like when my mother passed on and came back in a coma, we had to negotiate. We had to ask God and say, hey, she's old now. God give us, let's finish this 90 days. We know.
So they negotiate with God. Okay.
You negotiate with God, you negotiate with a person, you don't shout at them, and then
you negotiate with God. I want to hear if from pastors that you know who would phrase praying for a miracle like that, or praying for whatever, resurrection, whatever. If they would put it like this, that you are there negotiating with God, you show them the value. Like when you were saying this stuff, I was like, what?
Came back in a coma. We had to negotiate. We had to ask God and say, hey, she's old now. God give us, let's finish this 90 days. We know. You negotiate with God, you negotiate with a person, you don't shout at them, and then they see then they come back. Failure to do so, they can go. So you don't just shout in the name of Jesus. Those things don't work.
Oh. So if you're saying in the name of Jesus, it doesn't work. Okay.
You must get Jesus himself in connection, and God himself. Talk with him. You must.
So saying in the name of Jesus doesn't work. You must get he himself and negotiate. I'm just highlighting the points here.
And then they see then they come back. Failure to do so, they can go. So you don't just shout in the name of Jesus. Those things don't work. You must get Jesus himself in connection, and God himself. Talk with him there, and use different methods. It's not one method, and it's not guaranteed that everybody will come back to life.
I've got two questions I want to ask you. Number one, with all these evil spirits...
Okay, so MacG goes on to something else there. But did you hear that? I thought that was quite an interesting one. I thought that was interesting, like his explanation of his process of doing a miracle is that it's not a petition. That's what a prayer is. We know prayer to be a petition. And so whether it be a prayer for health or whatever, it's a petition. You know? You're praying if it will be granted, it's granted. It's not this negotiation that he's talking about. But so maybe at your church they do it like that. I thought that was quite it just showed me why I differ so much with Mboro doctrinally. Because it's like, what? Is that what you guys are doing? You're negotiating with God, saying in the name of Jesus. No, that doesn't work. Let's get Jesus and then you negotiate. And I've never heard that before. It was my first time. Or is it also your first time? Have you ever heard a miracle prayer described like that? Or do they do it like that at your church? Yeah, tell me what your thoughts are on this one. I thought that was quite... So that's what you guys are doing? Huh? It's a lot, ne?